Without data, I've seen a lot of people leaders acquiesce to the desires or demands of their senior executives. And a lot of senior executives, Gen X and earlier generations, are used to the management practices of management by walking around and the convenience of being able to pull together people for a quick huddle. And so it's what I'm seeing is a preference by most senior executives that tend to be a different generation than most of the frontline workforce for in-office or more in-office work. And I've seen the HR leaders, again, in the absence of information, in the absence of strong data, ultimately acquiesce. Where I think we can bring some data to the table, and it's not that hard to do. So I would challenge people leaders that are listening to do your best to capture some of these numbers. Well, one is, what different labor rate could your organization potentially pay for talent if you're outside your headquarters location? Like if you're Bay Area based and you're paying Bay Area wages, why are you not looking at Texas, Atlanta, Chicago? That's just inside the United States, let alone offshore stuff. But inside the United States, you can get 20% plus labor rate differential. And this is more for work that can be done remotely, like knowledge workers in the tech field, right? In retail, if you're running a gym, you can't have people working off site, right? But take a look at labor rates. Take a look at time to fill. If you're willing to fill a remote job, I just saw a stat from LinkedIn that said like there's 10x the number of applicants to remote jobs versus in-office jobs. Like the choice of talent is massively larger, and you can fill it faster with better talent if you're more open geographically. So time to fill, cost per hire, labor rate, these are things that are interesting. Take a look at what you're paying for your commercial office space. In the Bay Area, Class A office space, typical price per square foot is $100, $150 a square foot per month of rent, and the typical worker gets about 150 square feet. So do the math, it's about $18,000 a year per worker in San Francisco Bay
Jeez.
Area that you're paying for the commercial office space. That'll vary if you're in different areas and more space, less space, but I've done that math. So 18 grand a year you're paying for the privilege of having that space. I have done a series of blog posts on this. Maybe we could link to it at some point in the show notes. I think hybrid is the worst of both worlds. Why is it the worst?
Interesting.
Because you're paying for the office space. That's 18 grand that you wouldn't be paying for otherwise. You're giving up whatever advantages you think you may have by being able to gather people locally in an ad hoc manner whenever you want. Because if you're hybrid, you say it's 3 days in, but it's actually 2, and it's a different 2 for everybody, and you're never really able to get your complete team together. So you have some real losses there. And maybe most importantly is, if you're hybrid at all, you can't get the geographic arbitrage on the labor cost. You can't hire somebody from Atlanta to be in your office in San Diego 3 days a week. You just can't. So I think hybrid's the worst of both worlds.